see, though, that we've sped it up. And that is in part because we want to make sure to get through it, but also so that we get through it in time, as these things can, a match can take a while, and if the next round starts and you don't get to see the ending, it's real feel bad. So here we are, two flyers in the early stages, one of them a Vault Scourge, the other one a Birds of Paradise, and I think that Mark Jacobson has, it looks like a Noble Hierarch and also a Voice of Resurgence down there.
And I really enjoy this because with how much thinking there is in Magic and how difficult a game it is, the plays that get made still look completely normal. The only thing is we don't really have to sit there and watch them think and think and think sometimes when they're in these difficult situations.
I like it too. I like it a lot. Turbo Magicking, and there is Abrupt Decay to kill a Cranial Plating. That's a critical play for Mark Jacobson. Keeping that plating off the table is a huge deal against this Affinity deck. Now, Andrew Brown, by the way, that's our GP Denver champion over there. He won with blue-black control in Standard, and he's gone completely on the other end of the spectrum, and he's running Affinity here. He's the king of the hill.
Okay.
So he gets to carry that seat over from the last GP, and he gets to sit there as long as he keeps winning. He won last round, so good for Andrew Brown.
He's not looking great here, though.
No, he's not. He does have an active Etch champion, which can do some pretty serious work on the ground, but he looks like he might just get overwhelmed here.
Yeah, and the Spellskite can block the Etch champion anyway. And
wow. You looking at this?
Yeah. Building a Ravager.
He's building a Ravager by playing, tapping, and then sacking the mana from Mox Opals, which are legendary, and so he plays one, gets rid of the other one, and he's built up a pretty big Ravager. Is he going to be able to put enough on this S champion and just blast through?
Yeah, he went through 3 of them there.
Wait, but there's also a Spellskite up there, so that can get in the way once. Depends on what the race situation's like here. So it looks like Andrew's deciding if he wants to put Ravager tokens on something, and he does. Although, where did they go?
I'm not sure what just happened.
It looks like he moved them over. What happened here?
I don't know. Something had to happen.
Right, because he moved them over to the S champion, but they disappeared. Yeah, Spellskites took them?
I don't see them on the Spellskite.
I don't either.
I'm not really sure what happened. There's something had to happen.
And I don't think Spellskite can take those.
I'm not really sure how that works, but the Ravager didn't just go to the yard and do nothing. It had to try and put counters somewhere.
I have no idea what happened there, but Orzhov Pontiff came down and cleared away the rest of the chaff there. And yeah, you said it a second ago, but it looks like the pod deck here is going to pretty handily take down Andrew Brown. I'm really curious now what happened with those Ravager counters. They just disappeared.
Regardless of that, it looked like a good situation for the pod player.
Well, I think Rashad just figured it out. Redirect to Spellskite, it's a May ability? What does that mean?
So
Explain this to me.
I think what Rashad is saying, he activated the Spellskite so that he was forced to do it to that, but it's a May, so after that he just chose not to put the counters on it, because why would you want to make your opponent's Spellskite giant?
Oh, so you actually can straight up redirect that to the Spellskite.
So you can redirect it, but the putting the counters on it from the Ravager apparently might be a May, and then of course you would elect not to, rather than to grow their giant Spellskite into a giant monster. We've got the card up now, so we can check it out a little bit more.
Yeah, no, it's true.
It's exactly what Rashad said.
When it dies, we're back underway here. You may put its +1/+1 counters on target artifact creature. It doesn't care about who controls what.
So that makes a lot of sense.
What a blowout, though.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it wasn't a good play for him to sack all his permanents there and go for that.
Andrew Brown must have been like, well, this isn't quite what I had in mind.
But, good for Andrew Brown for identifying that after the redirection happened, he should choose not to put the counters on it, that it was a May.
That's pretty awesome.
This is what we were talking about earlier with being an expert in your deck, because there's so many different decks and interactions in Modern.
Right.
That's why there's an advantage to playing the same deck and knowing your deck through and through.
Totally.
This game looks to be going a little better for Andrew. I mean, we don't know what's in Mark's hand yet, but he already connected once with that cranial plating, and this is a great start for the Affinity deck.
So Andrew Brown's looking to even things back up again and stay undefeated here, but Mark Jacobson is kind of going off here. Is that the Spike Feeder up there?
Yeah, I mean, Spike Feeder's not going to be real effective here either. There's things that you can always do post-sideboard against Affinity to just win the game or to come very close to it. That could have been on that turn, instead of a Spike Feeder and a Noble Hierarch, we could have seen a Creeping Corrosion or a Kataki. But I'm pretty sure Andrew's happy to see a Spike Feeder. That's not really scaring him. It's possible Mark's going to untap and cast an Archangel Thune, and then Andrew's not going to be happy about that.
Right.
Well, now he won't even have the option to set up that infinite combo because he was forced to sack that Spike Feeder just to stay alive.
Yeah. That's a good play by Andrew Brown. Yeah, like you said, kind of locking off that part of the combo, putting enough pressure on his opponent. Well, here's a Siege Rhino, but that's just too slow here,
I
right?
can't imagine. Oh, I guess he could just block with the birds, but I can't imagine that he can even stay alive here.
Yeah, he can't. Andrew Brown wins that one by diversifying his threats with his cranial platings, one of them on a Blinkmoth Nexus and the other one on the Vault Scourge, and that's game 2. So Mark Jacobson and Andrew Brown are going to hit the game 3 in the Turbo Magic match here.
The Turbo feature a little less necessary when Affinity's playing because it usually either wins or loses by turn 5 or so.
It is true.
I do really love it for all that thinking time that we get to kind of go through. It is pretty funny to me, though, the way their hands look moving at the faster speed.
It is funny. We're about 10.5 minutes overtime here in the 5th round in Omaha. So after the Turbo match, we'll have a short break, but it shouldn't be too much longer before we're back down to the feature match area again. We're getting pretty close to just wall to wall here. Yeah, this is where Turbo really is great too. They're mulliganing and we don't have to watch a mulligan for 10 minutes or whatever.
Nobody ever takes a long time shuffling during mulligans.
No.
I'm famous for that. People have...
Because you do what he does.
Yeah, people have put into the text while I was playing. It's really fun watching Ben shuffle.
Yeah.
I like it random. I like a nice random mix.
You are a shuffler. Mark Jacobson going down to 5 here. Feels like his deck can recover from that pretty well, though. And he's got turn 1 Noble Hierarch, so a nice start. And how good is this start here from Andrew Brown? Pretty darn good. Thoughtcast on turn 1 and a Memnite for pressure. So things moving forward for him, but there's a Voice of Resurgence on turn 2 from Mark Jacobson, so not too bad himself. And Etch Champion and another Thoughtcast plus an Ornithopter for Andrew Brown. So he's moving things forward, but he's going to need to get that Etch Champion going and get a plating on it or get a Ravager or something before Mark Jacobson gets set up and starts doing nasty stuff, especially if he happens to have a Birthing Pod here where he doesn't really need to draw cards anymore. He can just, work with his own total. All right, it looks like we had a judge call because there was something mixed up with the card.
If he had a land in a Birthing Pod and he could Birthing Pod out a Kataki or something like that, that would be really good.
All right, well, there's a Spellskite to get in the way. Look at that, Ghostfire Blade doing work.
Yeah, and the cranial
plating. Wow, and a plating too. So this is just getting disgusting. Andrew Brown could win this quite quickly. Spellskite's there to stop the Ravager that we saw in game 1, but it doesn't do anything against cranial plating, and bang. This is huge, huge hits now. And Mark Jacobson, missing land drops, I don't think he's going to be able to do much here. No, he has nothing. He's got Birthing Pods in his hand, but didn't want to play them or was